These next problems that we're going to solve are ones that have parentheses that are in them. And so I'm going to show you two different ways of doing these first couple problems like this. For other problems, we are going to use the distributive property. But if these first couple here, you actually have a choice on which method to use. So I'll show you both methods. So let's do the first method. The first method would be using the distributive property. So I'm going to do 4 times w and then 4 times -3. And if I multiply that, I get 4w minus 12 equals -12. So now the next step would be to get rid of the -12 because I want to get the w by itself. So to do that, that means I would just add 12 to both sides. So I get 4w. These add up to a 0. So I get actually a 0 on the right-hand side as well. I want to solve for w, which means I want to divide both sides by 4. Now, if you divide by 4, you just get w there. 0 divided by 4, 0. Okay, now it's okay in this case to divide by 4. As long as you're not dividing by 0, then it's okay. But here we're only dividing by 4. So that's why we get w equals 0 as the answer. Now, here's the other way that you could do this problem. Instead of using the distributive property, we can choose to divide first. I noticed that if I divide both sides by 4, -12 does divide by 4, goes in evenly. And so that's why I'm choosing to do this method. Now, if this was a 7, then 12 divided by 7, you'd end up with a fraction. So then maybe this method wouldn't be the best. You'd probably want to go and do the first method instead. But for this case, I'm going to choose to divide both sides by 4. I get w minus 3 equals -3. And now I can just add 3 to both sides and get the same answer, w equals 0. So again, that only worked because 12 divided by 4 gave me a whole number there instead of a fraction. So if it doesn't give you, if it gives you a fraction, I'd say probably just focus on the first method. Let's try that again with a couple more problems. Okay, so again, either method works on this. I'm actually going to use the division method because for these problems, it's actually a little bit shorter to do so. So for this, I'm going to divide both sides by 7. When the 7s go away, you don't need to write these parentheses anymore because technically you're just multiplying this by 1, which is itself. So that's why you don't need to show those parentheses anymore here. -21 divided by 7 is -3. Now the last step would be, okay, I want to get the w by itself, so I want to do the opposite operation. So instead of adding 4, I'm going to subtract 4 from both sides. And I get w equals -7, and that's going to be the answer there. Okay, let's do one more of those kind. Okay, so these kind of problems here, again, you could use, actually, you know what, this one I'll do the distributive property since I showed the division property in the last problem. Let me show you distributive property on this just so you can see both methods being done. What I would do is I would multiply both of these inside things by the 5. So 5 times the w and then 5 times 3. So I would get 5w plus 15 equals 35. Now I'm going to subtract 15 from both sides because I want to isolate and get the 5w by itself. I want that to go away and add up to a 0. That's why I'm doing the opposite operation here. 5w and then 35 minus 15 gives 20. Then we divide both sides by 5 and we get w equals 4. So you'll get the same answer on these, whether you do it the division method or if you do it by the distributive property. For these kind of problems, you could do either method.